time for a while. I think actually since August to get an interview with you, so it's a pleasure to be speaking to you. Um,
Nice, nice. It's a pleasure for me too.
and yeah, first of all, well, I suppose how you getting on in Mexico? You enjoying it over there?
Yeah, it's nice. It's interesting. It's totally different style of football, totally different style of life. Um, and you have to learn the Spanish. If you learn the Spanish, you're good. If not, it's a problem because they're not everyone like Diego. They don't speak English.
Yeah, yeah. Uh,
Diego is an exception.
have you managed to pick up much Spanish then? Are you fluent
Yeah, 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 yeah.
now? Good, well done.
I'm in a good level. I'm in a good level.
Brilliant. So what made you move to Mexico then? I mean, you were a revelation in the MLS. You scored for fun for at Atlanta United.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, yeah. Finish, finish.
yeah, yeah. So why did you decide to move? Because you were such a success there.
Well, first of all, in Atlanta, I had a great, great time, and I was feeling like a king, like Celtic, same situation. They've been treating me like a king. I was scoring a lot. The team was really focused on my style of play. Um, but then it was kind of we lost in the translation with the board of Atlanta, and I received a big offer from Cruz Azul financially. And then, to be honest, Cruz Azul was coming really after me. Like they were pushing a lot. They showed me that you know what we want you. Like we're not joking around. And at this time, I spoke to Atlanta and I said, listen, we were in negotiations with Atlanta to renew my contract. See, before like 4 months before Cruz Azul come, and I said to Atlanta, listen, I know the taxes are different here. You pay around 40%, which is huge as an amount. You cannot match the money that I have from Cruz Azul, but the most important for me is like I want you to show me like, do you still want me here? Do you
Yeah.
still want me to be around? I don't ask you to give me the same money. It wasn't financial the problem. It was like showing me that they really appreciate me as a person first of all and as a player. And it's a bit difficult to negotiate with Americans. They are businessmen,
Yeah.
and I think they kind of risked a lot with me, and they didn't show me the appreciation I wanted to see. They didn't even make an offer for
Yeah.
me. They thought that, you know what, you have contract 1 year more, 2 years more. I don't remember. Like you will stay. I said, I'm not gonna stay. You cannot force me to stay. If I'm not happy here and I'm a DP, you cannot force me to stay. You don't want a DP like walking around or like being frustrated or disappointed with you. That doesn't help anyone, either me or nor you.
Yeah.
So at this time, yeah, I felt that Atlanta didn't even made any approach to me, didn't even make any something with they didn't look after the result like to keep me there. They were only talks and big words but nothing. And I just took my decision like super fast because Cruz Azul was really intense while they were handling me. And I said no, I just want to be in a place that they will show me that I'm important. They will show me that they really want me, and that made me take the decision.
Yeah. I'm sorry to hear it turned out that way, but yeah, I mean, like you said, you were treated like by the fans anyway. You were king at
Yeah.
Atlanta. It was I watched.
No, look, I love Atlanta. I'm watching every single game. It didn't affect me the relationship with the board or the way they handled the situation in the end. It didn't affect my feelings for Atlanta. I love Atlanta, and I'm watching like every single game of them.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, obviously, a major part of this interview is about your time at Celtic. 18 months, but you packed in quite a lot during that time. Um,
Yeah.
now you joined. Just kind of take it back to the start. You finished the was it 2021 season as top goal scorer in the Dutch top division. Uh,
hmm
I think Celtic paid a fee of around. You might be able to tell me otherwise, but I think it was around 2.5 million pound, which was an absolute steal. Can you remember how your move to Celtic first came about and what your feelings were when you first heard the club were interested?
Yeah, I feel that okay. I think first of all that the fact that we relegated with VVV Venlo in Holland, it really destroyed my season that I had there,
Yeah.
and me and the club at the same time. I think because they couldn't ask for big money, they got relegated, and they had to accept any offer in the end of the day. I feel that the transfer window was super slow, and the fact that the teams that they were looking at me, they were actually like waiting to see what's gonna happen with the situation of Veve. Is it gonna relegate the team? Is the team gonna stay in Eredivisie? Because we speak with different value after that. Eventually, we got relegated, and it was a super slow transfer window because they knew they're gonna steal me for almost for nothing in comparison with the season that I had there. So that's exactly what happened. I think to be honest, I had already shake hands with Werder Bremen. I
Oh,
went there in their training center, and I didn't have Celtic at this time. So I went there. I shake hands, and they just didn't figure it out in the end. The two teams, the two clubs, financially, and then Celtic made an offer. It was late in transfer window. It was like 25 of August, 26. It was super late. I was super stressed, as you can imagine, after the season. And yeah, didn't even think about that. I knew Celtic was is a huge club. It was a huge opportunity for me, and didn't think twice. I said, let's move there. I said to my agent, you figure it out with the financial part, but as a club, it's exactly what I want.
yeah. And I mean, it's fair to say it probably took you a while to get going at Celtic due to a knee injury. I think you sustained quite
Mm.
early on. Plus, Kyogo was kind of on form at that point as well. I think you scored your first goal in your first start against St Johnstone in
Hmm.
October, I think 2021. And then a few weeks later, you probably remember you obviously missing that penalty against Livingston. Were your early days in Glasgow kind of frustrating, or were you always kind of convinced that you would find your rhythm and score the goals that you did in the Netherlands?
Well, yeah, of course, when you have a season like the one I had in Netherlands, you feel like, okay, now I'm ready to rip the new league off. Like I would kill them straight away, but it's not like that. Like the sizes of the clubs were totally different. Like Celtic VVV is huge respect on VVV, but if you go from VVV to Celtic, it's a massive step up, and it was kind of unlucky at the same time. It was also the fact that I had to adjust to the new environment, to the new country. The pressure that I would have since day one when I picked number seven, and it was different. It was different, but I loved every single minute in this process because I always wanted to play for big clubs, and for me, it was a dream that came true. And of course, I had a slow start. I had this injury. Um, but yeah, then I had first of all amazing physios there that they worked very well with me, and I came back since day one. I think it was a cup game that I scored straight away when I started my first start again, and then since then it just went up.
Yeah, I think Kyogo's injury as well opened an opportunity. I think it was about winter time. Kyogo's injury kind of opened an opportunity for you as well to start playing regular football from the off. And I think you really announced yourself as a Celtic player in that 3-0 win over Rangers in the February 2022. Now, some people I know say that was like the best atmosphere they've ever experienced at Celtic Park, and that takes some doing. What do you remember from that night? Because obviously it was your first derby.
Well, yeah, the atmosphere. First of all, the atmosphere. Yeah, big time. It was the biggest, the craziest atmosphere I've ever experienced,
It
and
was.
I have experienced since then in my career. I don't think I will experience this night again because playing Champions League with Celtic is massive. It is amazing, but when you play Old Firm, I think the whole city is on fire. I remember we were winning like 3-0, if I'm not mistaken, 3-0 at halftime. I went into the dressing room and I thought I was deaf. I went to the doctor. I said, Doc, I cannot hear anything. And it was, the contrast from outside, all that noise, to the complete silence inside the dressing room,
Yeah.
which it happened something in my ears. I honestly couldn't hear anything. Like I was hearing like a something in my ear. It's like I said, Doc, maybe I have problem with my ears. Check that. I said, no, relax. You're gonna get out again, and you're gonna feel the same way.
Yeah.
Which eventually happened. It was we went out, and I remember the game. We absolutely smashed them. We destroyed them, and I think we could score even more goals. But when you have these fans by your side and a strong team with very good individuals and a very good unit, you can achieve everything.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that you were outstanding that night leading the line. It was a bit of a throwback to watching Chris Sutton and John Hartson playing for Celtic. It was that kind of powerful presence up front where you kind of ragdolled the Rangers defence. I mean, a few weeks later as well, I think you scored a perfect hat trick against Dundee to put Celtic free clear of Rangers in the title race. It was a massive victory, and you really seemed to kick on from there as well. Is that a fair assessment?
Sorry, the question?
You scored the perfect hat trick against
Yeah,
Dundee.
yeah, yeah.
And then it was a massive kind of 3 points for Celtic as well because you went 3 points ahead of Rangers in the title race. From then on, you seemed to really find your rhythm and score frequently. Um,
Yeah.
is that the kind of point where is that the point where you felt you were in the groove of scoring goals for Celtic?
Yeah, I was feeling like super important in this team. I was feeling like I can score fluently and do my job, do what I did last year, and I knew that I'm gonna repeat the same way. Of course, I missed 4 or 5 months at first, but then I felt that okay, now I'm gonna do it again. I'm feeling strong. I'm feeling fitness wise, like mental wise. I was feeling very very strong, and I had so much confidence also on the team that I knew no matter what the ball will arrive. The only thing that I wanted is just the ball to arrive. Then it's my job to put it in the back of the net.
Yeah. And then I think injury robbed you of the chance to play in the Scottish Cup semi-final defeat against Rangers at Hampden. There was a feeling that had you been available that day, the outcome could have been very different based on your kind of form at the time and obviously how you bullied the Rangers defence the game before. How disappointed were you to miss out in that game?
That I had a tiny injury thing, right? I
Yeah,
had a tightness. Yeah, it was. Well, I had it was a very minor injury, I could tell, and I had a conversation with Ange Postecoglou, and he told me like I would rather for you not to risk anything in order to have you until the end, and the most important for us is to focus on the league title, and then he thought that okay, we're gonna make it to the cup final also. And I said to him, no, please take me. Like I want to take that risk. It's on me. I think I can play. I'm ready to go. And he said, no, I cannot risk that. Like take this day, and from next week we're gonna start organize again and plan for the next game. It was painful because I really wanted the double, meaning about the cup and the league, and it was kind of incomplete the season. Something was missing. A small part. Like the most important, of course, is the league title for me. And I think for every player, you cannot put cup and league at the same level. Um, but it was the same final also that the whole city was breathing for it. Like you played against an old firm
yeah.
again, an old firm, and I didn't make it, and it was kind of sad, but it is what it is. This is football.
Yeah, you did score the goal that won Celtic the title at Tannadice, of course.
Mm.
A header, if I remember right. Where does that rank in terms of the best moments of your career?
Um, well, to be honest, maybe okay. It was maybe the goal, like typically that gave us the point that we needed, and we won the league title. But I knew that even if I didn't make this goal, like honestly, I was feeling like okay, we won the league. That's it. They cannot come back from that. They are down. We were gonna win the league no matter what. Yeah, it was a happy moment, but I think that I will not remember this goal, to be honest. After 20 years, I will remember the moments with Celtic in Champions League that we hammered Real Madrid the first 60 minutes in Celtic Park, and we're super unlucky that we didn't score. We didn't take the advantage because I think it would be a total different game. We absolutely destroyed them. And it was also, I remember this buzzing atmosphere. The whole stadium was buzzing, like it was crazy. And these nights are the most important for me, scoring or not scoring. These are the great moments that I will always remember.
Yeah. Another great moment must have been when you got your hands on the Premiership trophy as well at the end of the season. A lot of people in the media had dismissed Celtic's chances of wrestling back the title from Rangers that season because there was such a turnover of players, and obviously it was Ange's first season. One pundit actually even said that Ange would be sacked by Christmas. It must have been a special feeling celebrating, in front of 60,000 fans, knowing that the squad had proved so many people wrong.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing winning my first year in Celtic the trophy straight away, like and winning the Premier League, the Premiership top scorer trophy. Like if you combine these two, I mean, you cannot be happier. You cannot be happier. I was super happy. I was feeling that finally, even at 26, I feel like a proper professional football player. That it's in high level, competing for the best, playing Champions League, ending up top scorer of the league, winning the league, and playing for this massive club. I think Celtic is gonna be my presence in Celtic is gonna be my biggest flex that I will always have in my professional career. I don't know what's gonna happen in the future. I'm 30 years old, but if you combine like everything that I experienced there, the size of the club, the Champions League nights, the people on there, I couldn't walk on the street
Yeah.
because I wouldn't enjoy like my walk with my family. I went out with a stroller with my son, and I remember in 20 meters, I had like 15 photos.
Yeah.
And I remember my wife, like in the end, looking like, "Are we walking now, or just we were in a photo shooting?" Like she was, I could understand. Like she has a couple of hours with me in the afternoon to spend together with the family, whatever. And but I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah. It must have been so different from anywhere you've played that, you could literally walk 15 yards in the street and everyone notices who you are.
I think it was kind of similar situation with Ike Athens, but Ike Athens, the Greek mentality is kind of it's different. It's different, and there is no too much respect on the players, winning or not winning. Like they will not, they will see you outside, and they will use words like "you didn't win," like stuff like that, and or if you win, uh, player like what? They are confused. They think you're a friend of them or whatever in a bad way, which I never received in Celtic.
Yeah.
Like I received wherever I went, super respectful behaviors from even from Rangers fan. Like I never had any issues. Like everyone was talking to me like, "Hey, hello, whatever," and then they would say something like Rangers like this. I said, no, we're joking. Like I never received a disrespect from anyone. So that's what I loved because I think that the people, they're not only obsessed with football, but they are well educated also.
Yeah.
They had an opinion about football that for a fan is not common to have a proper opinion and a correct opinion.
Yeah.
Most of the fans are speaking out of emotions and they don't have any clue. They are just reading articles and that's it. They don't have their own opinion because they don't have the education. They don't know. But talking to Scottish people, like I felt like, dude, this team, like even the fans, they're different level.
Mhm.
They have lived so many good memories and they breathe for football, but they know what they're talking about. You're gonna sit down and speak about football for them, and they will even tactically will talk about something. They will have an idea,
Yeah.
and that was a big surprise for me.
Yeah. And as I say, you kind of finished your debut season as the top goal scorer. I think you scored 13 goals, which was a good return considering that you missed a chunk of the season through injury as well. Then you entered the new season, your second season, and you carried off where you left off by scoring a bundle of goals in the early months. Albeit, I think again most of the goals, most of your appearances were from the bench. Did you feel you had a point to prove whenever you kind of came off the bench?
Well, I at first when I finished the season winning the league and the top scorer trophy award, I called my agent and I said we need to go.
Really?
And he was surprised. He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Listen, we need to go because I have the feeling that with this manager, I'm not gonna play next year. It doesn't matter what I did this year, I'm not gonna play, and I don't deserve that. Whenever I play, I'm delivering, and I don't deserve that. I'm a king for the fans. I love them. They love me. But I knew what's gonna happen. I knew already. So my previous agent didn't really believe me or didn't really eventually brought me any offer on the table, and just started the season. It happened exactly what I was feeling, and there was a special connection, and that Kyogo had with manager and manager with Kyogo. Maybe it was different styles, so maybe Ange was preferring this false nine, maybe. Um, but then again, I was feeling what's gonna happen. I started the season. I think the fans made me. I'm not a person that if you don't believe in him, he's gonna deliver. I want to feel loved in a place, and I think only the fans kept me in a good level, coming from the bench and scoring. Only the fans made it like show me the love they had for me and the song they were singing for me and all this support. Like honestly, they it was because of them that I was feeling I was getting the love from somewhere, and that made me deliver. So I think in 6 months I had 9 goals in all competitions, if I'm not mistaken, and then I changed my agent. Obviously, I wasn't happy with what was going on and not finding a solution, and I made my mind that you know what, it's my career, and I will never lose my love for the fans, and hopefully didn't lose the appreciation they had on my face and the love they had for me. But yeah, I wasn't in a place that I was feeling happy anymore. And it wasn't about the club. It wasn't about the fans. It was about the situation that if you don't play, it's not easy to feel happy. And I was always a protagonist. I wanted to feel a protagonist and not like a cobars that is gonna help out in difficult moments or is gonna fill out the shoes of someone, when he's missing.
Yeah. And what was your relationship like with Kyogo? Did you get on well? Obviously, like you said, the manager and Kyogo seemed to have a special relationship, but there was a feeling, even amongst the support, that you did deserve more opportunities.
No, with Kyogo, I never had any problems. Like we never fought. We never we couldn't fight. He didn't speak English back then, like zero words. I don't know in the end how was it, but how you can fight with someone that you don't even know what he's thinking.
Yeah.
No, I didn't have any fight with Kyogo. It was a big competition with me and him, but it was in the end of the day a mutual respect to each other. Like honestly, we never had any fight, and he was super kind to me. I think I was kind to him too. Um, it was just the fact that I wanted to play, and he didn't want to play with two strikers.
Yeah.
Postecoglou, that was another thing that played this part.
Yeah. I think it was around about the World Cup break when it arrived in November 2022 is when the rumours started really swirling around about your future. Now, can you so I suppose you've kind of touched on it already, but there was talks about there was a lot of chat about perhaps you rejecting a new contract and then putting in a transfer request. Is that what kind of are you able to clarify exactly what happened?
Well, I didn't mention before because I don't want to speak financially wise because some people don't understand when you speak financial about teams, they say, oh, you do it for money. Of course, we do it for money and for money. We don't do it only for money, but it's a football career and you play 10, best case scenario, 15 years. You have a family. You will not think about money. And I'm not talking about when you're earning millions and you think like, okay, I'm going to lose half a million. I'm going to go somewhere else. When you didn't have any, I was 26. I had a family. I had a kid. The second was on the way. And I had a ridiculous contract for Celtic. Like when this happened, that I told you, like it affected all of us, the relegation with VVV. It affected me a lot. Imagine like scoring in 30 games, 29 goals with VVV, and then don't have any team until 26th of August, any offer. And then when eventually Celtic realized, oh, it's all he has is us, they really took advantage of it. And I had a ridiculous contract. And then they told me when I signed, well, if you prove yourself, we're going to sit down on summer and give you what you deserve. But of course, that was a lie to bring me there. And when I ended up top scorer, winning the league, like they bought me only for 2.5 million pounds. You feel like, okay, I proved myself. I did my part. Now let's do yours. You have to do yours. So I talked to them and I said, listen, we need to talk. Like you need to give me what I deserve. And then they just offered me like £1,000 more per week. That was the offer they did to me. And I said, okay, obviously it's not the £1,000 more. It's like you are messing around. You're with me and you don't appreciate me. And at this time, I said, don't even make any other offer because I feel disrespected. And you didn't appreciate what I gave for the team and for the fans, the connection I had. Like, I don't care anymore. I am done with you. Name a price. I'm leaving. Right. And it was all about the appreciation. Like, even if they would give me like the same money, they would tell me, you know what, this is it. Or if they would give me like something super tiny more, like it's the appreciation part. You don't know if you're going to find the money that you want afterwards. I didn't have any offer. I was on the air. But I said, no, but I don't feel that they appreciate me as a player. They don't appreciate me. They don't appreciate what I did for them. That I came here, I delivered with this ridiculous contract. They bought me for nothing. But then I won the league. Because if you remember, before I start playing, we're second. If you look at the stats, we were second before I start playing while I was injured. And when I came back, since I came back, we overpassed Rangers and we won the league title. And I feel like I put my feet on that. Like I helped a little bit on that, or a lot. I don't know. We won almost everything. Like, okay, what else do you want? And then the moment I felt that, okay, they are lying, and all they care about is money. They don't care about relationship. They don't care about the fans. They don't care about the love and the connection of the fans and the players. I said, okay, then it's time to go.
Yeah, I did feel like Celtic were kind of happy to cash in on both yourself and Josip Juranovic after the World Cup because they did bring in replacements, Alistair Johnston, who's still at the club, and then O for yourself as well. They were in the building by the time you were still in the building with them as well. Did you feel like the club? I mean, it's probably a daft question, but from what you see, from what you're saying, it's clear that you think the club didn't do enough to keep you there.
Well, if you think that Celtic should be happy with selling their striker, top scorer of the league, for 4.5 million, then you tell me if it's a good business or if there was a plan.
Yeah.
If they would sell me, for example, 15 million, 12 million, 13 million, I will tell you, yes, you know what? They made a profit. I cannot tell anyone about anything about them. It's business. But it wasn't about that.
Yeah, because it's strange. I mean, it did surprise a lot of people that the fee was quite low, considering how much you had contributed, in terms of your goals and how successful you were in your first 18 months and the bond that you had with the fans. People were speculating it'd be at least £10 million upwards, but it was surprising that it was quite a fraction of what people expected.
Yeah, I think it was like kind of our relationship between me, Michael, the technical director, and Anche. In the end, it was really fragile. It was really fragile, and I think at some point it just broke the glass.
Yeah, so that was one of
yeah, tell me.
So that was one of the questions I was going to ask. What was your relationship like with, particularly Ange Postecoglou? Did you enjoy working under him at least at the start?
No, well, listen, I cannot say anything bad about Ange. He brought me there. Um, I don't know what was his plan originally, like to be a second striker, to be like a solution from the bench, to be a starter. I never understood. Um, I cannot say anything bad. He was an amazing manager. He was the best manager I ever had in my career, football wise. Um, as a person, doesn't matter. Personal relationship and personal opinion is different to every person for a specific phase, for a specific individual. But as a manager, I cannot say anything. He brought me there. Of course, I wasn't happy when I was on not playing, and I'm gonna tell you something weird. We were both Greeks, right? I in 18 months, I went once in his office.
Really?
To ask permission to do the surgery for my knee to go to Greece. That was it. And when I did that, 3 months, I was already 3 months, I think, in the team. I asked people like, "Where is his office?" And they were laughing with me. They said, "Well, what the do you mean? Like, you don't know where his office is? You even speak the same language?" I said, "I would never talk."
Yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah, he is known. He has a reputation of being a kind of distant with his players. So I assume that was the same with you then. Yeah.
I
And
don't know with other players. To be honest, I had zero opinion about if he was talking or not to other players. But yeah, with me, that was the situation, and the fact that we didn't speak in his office didn't mean that we spoke outside. Like nothing at all. But still, as I told you, like he was an amazing manager, and could that be have been better? Like develop this relationship better? Yes, but in the end of the day, sporting wise, I was really happy with him.
you did say that your relationship towards the end was fragile with Ange. Did you eventually speak to him about your future and make it clear your feelings that you maybe saw
Yeah,
your future elsewhere?
yeah. I let him know. I let him know that you know what I need to. I want to go. I want to go away. At this point, he couldn't tell me anything, or he didn't even try to convince me to stay. Whatever. Uh, the only thing I said to him that I had two options. I had Japan and Atlanta United at this time. Um, I said to him, "Help me out. I want to go to Atlanta United, and the team wants to force me to go to Japan." Uh, he said, "Yes, I'm gonna help you," but eventually he lied.
By not helping you move to Japan?
He went to Michael and he said the exact opposite thing what I asked him.
Right.
Um, yeah, but I was really straight to him. Like I said to him that you know what, you understand very well that I have to go. I don't want to have any bad feelings for you. Doesn't matter how you treated me. Doesn't matter what the relationship was at this point. Just help me out so I can make it easier for you too. Because in the end, he was obviously not happy to have me there, while I was not happy also. Help me out to find the best solution. I want to go there, just push Michael, convince him, and he said, "Yeah, I'll do my best." And that was it.
Your last goal for Celtic came against Kilmarnock in the League Cup semi-final at Hampden. Did you know at that point that that was going to be your last goal and your last appearance for the club?
Yeah, and I think that was also my last touch.
Your last touch, yeah. Because I remember your celebrations quite emotional. You ripped your shirt off and you
Yeah,
got quite emotional at the time.
I was. Well, you brought back memories. I was really sad that I was leaving. I was super sad. I was sitting on the couch, remember myself, like, I had to convince myself, sporting wise, that it's not good for you to stay here. Doesn't matter how much you love the club, doesn't matter how much you are obsessed with the fans, doesn't matter how happy you were this whole time. Uh, scoring goals, winning trophies, whatever with the team, you have to go. But I had to accept it first. It was difficult.
Yeah. And at that point, had you agreed to move to Atlanta, or was the
No,
in the works? No.
nothing.
So when did the
I,
move?
ha-
When did you agree
I,
to move to Atlanta?
with Atlanta, well, they had the problem with I don't know if you know how they work with DP stars, the three
Yeah.
positions of three DP that they have, and they were struggling to find a position as a DP to sign me because if you're not a DP, I think you cannot buy a big amount of player and you cannot give him like a contract. So they were struggling a lot to pay the money that Celtic was trying to get from me. And I went to Netherlands. I had medical tests for Japan for Urawa Red Diamonds. I knew that the deal with Atlanta United is not going to happen. And then coming back from the medical test, I was in the airport. I was ready to fly back to Glasgow, and my agent called me. He said they sent someone away, Atlanta United, because they really want to sign you. And I was super happy because Japan would be an amazing experience, but I wasn't convinced about their football, first of all, and the fact that they didn't speak English and you would be away. I had a family. I had to choose for my family, like, should I go there? Like, if something happens when I'm away with the team, who they are gonna talk to? That was the most important reason I remember that why I didn't pick Japan, and it would be an amazing city. It would be Tokyo.
Yeah.
So I said, yeah, better Atlanta United. I also had like Midland. They were really after me, but I remember with my son, he was a 1 year old, and to win Celtic, we went out to play once. And I said, I'm a family person nowadays. Like I have to put everything together, and first of all, my family. I have my dreams, but priorities first.
Yes.
So when Midland came, I asked, "How is the weather there?" And he told me it's 10 times worse than Celtic, than Glasgow. I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, it's worse." I said, "Thank you, I'm not coming." And they were offering me more money than Japan, than Atlanta, than anyone. And I said, "Thank you very much." And probably they were also the team that they showed me the most that they really wanted to sign me. They were obsessed, like they were trying. Their director was sending me like 50 messages a day, trying to convince me. But then I said, "I'm sorry, mate. I have a family and I feel so sorry for them. If I go away from here, that it's amazing, and the bad thing is the weather. I'm gonna put the priorities first, and the first thing I'm gonna look for is the safety and the weather of a city."
Obviously, Celtic won later when you left in, I think it was February, you left Celtic later. They went on to win the treble that season. Were there mixed emotions kind of watching the club achieve like, such a famous season without you?
Yeah, yeah, it was. It's still sad, and I still feel. On the one hand, I feel super uh, proud that I played for Celtic. And on the other hand, I was feeling, this weird feeling that you feel you are there, but you're not there anymore. And it was sad. I was missing, this the pulse from the fans on the game, singing your song, treating you like a king. All these things that made you feel okay. Now I enjoy playing football. Now it's amazing, and I was missing that, and probably I still miss it.
Yeah. Looking back, do you have any regrets about your time at Celtic? Would you have perhaps liked to have stayed longer? Would you maybe, with the benefit of hindsight, would you change anything?
Regrets. I don't think I have any regret. Like I think I experienced that adventure in the best possible way. I did my best, and when I had to leave, I left with a head up, with much love for the club, appreciation, and the fans. But it had to be done, and I don't regret it. And
Yeah,
that doesn't have to do with the feelings that I had for Celtic because I didn't live for money. I didn't live for a rival club. I didn't live for I left at the point that everyone can understand I should go. If I cared for my career, I should go. If I had a good time for in the team there and playing like regularly as a starter and getting what I deserved, why should I leave? I was feeling like amazing.
yeah. And do you still watch out for Celtic results?
Yeah, 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 yeah. They're still strong. They're still going. They cannot lose the league. They cannot lose the league. They're in a good. I think they're in a good, in the right path, in a very good period. The last years, and it shows like they're super like a healthy club nowadays. They showing this off like publicly that we are a healthy club and we're going to win the trophies. And the only thing that sometimes make me a little bit sad is that I would love the team to be more competitive in Champions League because it deserves it. And I don't know if it's lack of quality. I don't think it's lack of quality. It's something is missing. I don't know what is this, but I would love to see Celtic competing for the best in Europe, even if it's not Champions League, like competing for the until the finals of Europa League or something, because they deserve to be somewhere high in a European tournament.
Yeah, for all Celtic's domestic dominance, Rangers reached the Europa League final, albeit they fell at the final hurdle. But maybe there is that kind of lack of European success. That's the only thing missing.
Yeah, yeah, I feel the same. I feel the same.
Yeah, and you did play all six Champions League group stages for match games for Celtic. That must have been you touched upon the Real Madrid game, but that must have been a special feeling. Walking out here in that anthem. Um, you know, you, that, that must be one of the best moments of your career, surely.
All these games in Champions League.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was amazing. I played Champions League before with AEK Athens. Not regularly, not as a starter. I had though the idea and the anthem and all these goosebumps that you have from the moment that you enter the field till the end. But with Celtic was different. When you experience Champions League in Celtic Park, I I still remember when the anthem was like starting and the whole stadium like shaking. That was amazing. That was amazing. And it starts from outside of the field, and then during the game, you're already, like boosted, and you feel like you if they will give you doping, it will be positive at this time, like from the fans and all you know, the push that they give to you. All the games we absolutely love them, and of course, the moment that I didn't mention was the goal I scored. It was my first goal in Champions League, and it's a night that I will never forget.
yeah. Brendan Rodgers is obviously in charge just now and is on the verge of leading Celtic to another treble. He did sign Adam Idah. I'm not sure if you've watched much of him for £9 million, which was the second most expensive signing in Celtic's history. And he's returned a fair share of goals. He scored 20 goals this season. But he is a striker kind of similar profile to yourself. Do you think that you would fit into the current Celtic team under Brendan Rodgers?
You want to set the fire? Um, I would love to play for Celtic again. I don't know if it is that's an utopia or if it could happen and again, but who wouldn't? Or even if you don't know what it feels to be there, when you've already been there, you know exactly what it means. So if someone played in Celtic and he was successful, and you ask him like a couple years after, like, would you play again for Celtic? And he tells you no, he's a stupid guy, and he's so dumb. So yeah, I would love to wear this jersey again. I don't know if I probably this circle is done for me, but yeah, that's my truth.
Yeah, I mean, you're still only 30. I know you're playing for one of the biggest clubs in Mexico at the moment, if not the biggest. But um, you know, I think Jota's returned to Celtic. Kieran Tierney's coming back to Celtic this summer, so perhaps it might not be a fantasy
Yeah,
happening one day, maybe.
I when I saw Jota coming back, it kind of I got in his position. How amazing he would feel like getting again in there, and like he went to Saudi, he went on loan to France. Probably he wasn't happy in any of these places. Um, he didn't feel the same, importance in their game. He didn't have the same importance. Probably he didn't have the same happiness or freedom. Uh, but I felt straight away like how he must have felt the moment he signed again, and the moment he wore the jersey, the moment he entered the first time, on the field, um, and the fans were cheering his name like crazy, the whole stadium on their feet to, it would be amazing. It would be amazing. I just immediately put myself in his position.
Yeah. Can you imagine it? Just, pulling on the hoops again and the fans singing your name.
Oh my God. That would be, like an amazing dream. That would
Yeah.
be amazing.
Do you still keep in touch with anyone from Celtic?
Well, I had the contact, like not pretty often, but with Ivanovic, with Jota. Obviously, when he went to Saudi, we spoke a couple of times. I want to check up on him, like how he's doing. Um, Obviously, I have all these players on Instagram, and we exchange some words and some wishes, like not too often, but I would love to have a more regular like contact. But still, I know what they're doing with their lives. I know, like, from these things that they're posting, and when you have this visual, with like looking up on them and checking what they're posting, you feel like you're still part of their life. Like, what they're done and what they're doing in their lives, and you feel like you're not so distanced in the end of the day. So yeah, I could have better contact, but still I have with some of them.
When I speak to former Celtic players like yourself, one of the kind of final questions I usually ask is, who was the player that most stood out in training?
Who was the best player in training?
Yeah,
Michael Johnston.
Mikey Johnston. Really?
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah. I mean, he was obviously extremely skillful, but he never really made it at Celtic, and he left for West Brom. Were you surprised that he never made it at Celtic?
It was a big surprise for me too, but I think it was a mix of couple of reasons. I think it was the fact that he was picking up like super easy injuries. He had issues with his muscles, and the other fact I think was mental, that he didn't feel from Monday to Friday it was amazing, but then on the weekend he didn't feel that he is a star there. So that's why I think he couldn't show up and be the player he could be for Celtic. Because I think if he had this mental part like strong and feeling happy and feeling important, he would rip the league off. Like, he was that kind of player that could dribble five, six players and then dribble also the goalkeeper and score.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting point you make there. Um, and I suppose, looking back at your time at Celtic, how would you sum it up overall?
No, Lebom. Well, it's as I said before, it's gonna be the biggest flex of my life, my career, because I made my dream come true, playing for a massive club, being a star in this club. and then have all these fans to cheering your name, scoring goals. Like I remember the moment the ball was touching behind the net, on the back of the net, it was ecstasy. It was this feeling that the whole stadium was on the field, like cheering, screaming, whatever. And so, in the end of the day, as a sum up, I would say that I'm super proud. I wish it could last longer. I would love to last longer. Um, and if that's possible to meet again, and to wear this jersey. If not, I will try to visit Glasgow in a derby and a weekend with the Old Firm derby in Celtic Park. I would love to be there. And the fact that made me really sad, to be honest, when I left, is that my relationship with Michael in the end, as I said, it was a glass that was broken, and I didn't have the chance to say goodbye to the fans. Or I was in Celtic. I was in Celtic Park. Like I didn't have the. I would love to take the microphone and say a proper farewell to the fans. Maybe it's too much. Maybe it's too much, but because it was only 1 year and a half. But my connection with the fans was not for a player that played only 1 year and a half there. So I would love to give them a proper farewell and tell them thank you for everything that made this journey special. And what I did, it was the biggest part was for them.